The first day of college, and I was already public enemy number one. My new roommates didn't just misunderstand me, they straight up tried to destroy me. One mastermind, two eager followers. To vent their twisted rage, they stripped me, beat my face to a pulp, and then, the ultimate betrayal, blasted a video of it online for the whole world to call me a slut, kill the homewrecker. Get that gold digging bitch. The comments poured in. They'd even shoved a dirty rag in my mouth, so I couldn't scream the truth. I'd never even met my roommate's boyfriend, so how could I be the other woman? But then she showed me the picture, a selfie of her cozying up to a man, and my blood ran cold. The man in the photo wasn't just anyone. He was my dad. My name is Lily Chen. Today was supposed to be a fresh start. New university, new city. To make a good impression, I'd even asked Dad to drop me off in his less flashy Porsche Panamera. Still an indulgence, I knew, but I was hoping to blend in, make friends. The dorm room door creaked open. I plastered on my best smile. Hey, I'm Lily. So excited to be roommates. I offered them a box of gourmet cookies and dried fruits I'd brought from a favorite local bakery. Little taste of home, if anyone's interested. Silence. Then, Quinn, all sharp angles, designer clothes, and a face caked in makeup, shot me a look that could curdle milk. Wow, money talks, huh? Trying to buy us off already. I blinked, confused. What? No, I just thought. Where was this hostility coming from? Was it because Dad was a successful entrepreneur? Did they automatically peg me as some spoiled princess? Nina, a slightly heavier girl with thick-rimmed glasses, chimed in, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Yeah, who needs your fancy crap? Probably looks better than it tastes. Cheap stuff dressed up. The third roommate, Tina, just kept her head down, unpacking, but I could feel the waves of disapproval rolling off her too. My hand faltered. I put the box back on my desk, a heavy stone settling in my stomach. So much for a warm welcome. This was going to be harder than I thought. The next day, I called Dad. Dad, I mumbled, I don't think my roommates like me much. What happened? Are they bullying you, Lilybug? He sounded instantly concerned. Not exactly bullying. Just, like, they've got this weird vibe. They don't really talk to me. I didn't want to worry him too much. Honey, you don't have to put up with that. I'm still in town. How about I help you find an apartment? We can afford it. Your happiness comes first. Typical Dad. Always there, always supportive. My eyes welled up. Okay, Dad. We checked out a few places and settled on a chic two-bedroom not too far from campus. It was perfect, quiet, safe, and a good place to focus on my studies. That was the whole point of coming to this university, far from home, to find some independence. To prove I could make it on my own. Ironic that the first major hurdle was other people. You like it, sweetie? Dad asked. I love it, Dad. It's peaceful. He ruffled my hair. Then it's yours. After signing the lease, Dad drove me back to the dorm to pack. As soon as I walked in, I heard Quinn raging. That shameless tramp. Crush. She slammed her phone on her desk. I flinched. Before I could ask what was wrong, Quinn whirled on me, her eyes blazing. You actually have the nerve to show your face here? Shouldn't you be with your sugar daddy? Her words, laced with contempt, hit me like a slap. I knew instantly she'd gotten the wrong idea about something, but before I could utter a single word of defense, Nina and Tina grabbed my arms, yanking me to the floor. You disgusting homewrecker, seducing other people's boyfriends. Nina shrieked, kicking me. Yeah, look at you, thinking you're all that just 'cause some guy pays your bills. Tina added, her earlier silence replaced with viciousness. I struggled, trying to explain. No, you don't understand. It's not what you think. Pain exploded across my body as their fists and feet connected. Tears streamed down my face. My pleas only fueled their fury. Quinn loomed over me, her expression arctic. Tie her up. Nina and Tina hesitated for a split second. Quinn raised a perfectly sculpted eyebrow. What, scared? Didn't you two say you wanted new Chanel bags? Help me teach her a lesson, and the latest ones are yours. A flicker of greedy excitement in their eyes told me everything. This was all Quinn. I remembered her envious stare when she saw me get out of the Panamera on move-in day. A venomous, covetous look. I didn't know what I'd done to make her hate me. but I knew I was in for it. Primal fear kicked in. I scrambled up, lunging for the door. "Stop her!" Quinn shrieked. Nina and Tina blocked my path. I pounded on the door, trying to scream for help, but Quinn was on me in a flash, a stinging slap cracking across my face. My ears rang, stars bursting behind my eyes. Before I could recover, Tina had shoved a wadded-up cloth, God knows where it came from, into my mouth. Muffled cries were all I could manage as they used bedsheets to tie my hands behind my back, securing me to a bedpost. I thrashed, but against 3 of them, I was helpless. Tina and Nina, bought and paid for with the promise of luxury, were now Quinn's enthusiastic henchmen, fetching ropes, tightening knots, treating me like a broken doll. Tears of anger and helplessness streamed down my face. What had I done to deserve this? I'd always tried to be kind, to live by the values Dad taught me, fairness, integrity. I came to this university to experience normal college life, to grow, to eventually take over Dad's company. How did it turn into this nightmare on day 1? At Quinn's signal, Nina and Tina took turns slapping me again. The pain was dizzying. My face throbbed, and I tasted blood. Quinn, finally tired, delicately wiped her fingers on a tissue as if she touched something filthy. "Not so innocent now, are we?" she sneered. "Pretty good at playing the victim after seducing someone else's man, huh?" I shook my head frantically, desperate to make her understand. I didn't know her boyfriend. "Oh, scared now?" Quinn's smile widened. "Should have thought of that before you went after what's mine. You clearly don't know who you're messing with. My man is off limits." Nina and Tina chimed in. "Yeah, who do you think you are, going after Quinn's guy?" "Some girls look all pure on the outside," Nina said, drawing out the word pure with a snide lilt, "but they're rotten underneath. Their taunts cut deeper than the bruises. I dreamed of sisterly bonds with my roommates. What a joke." Quinn sat on the opposite bed, crossing her legs. "Let me make this clear. Stay away from Richard G., or next time, it'll be worse than just a beating." "Richard G.?" My head snapped up. That was my father's name. Quinn and my dad? When did he become her boyfriend? I racked my brain. Dad had been focused on his business since Mom died in a car accident 10 years ago. He even changed my last name to Mom's maiden name to honor her memory. He was devoted to her, so how could he be Quinn's boyfriend? This had to be a colossal mistake. I shook my head violently, trying to speak, still denying it. Quinn's face darkened. "Then why were you getting out of my boyfriend's car? Why did he bring you to school?" "He told me he was too busy to drive me." Her voice rose. "It wasn't inconvenience. It was you, you little tramp." She stalked towards me. "I've seen your type before. Gold diggers, doing anything for money." She ripped open my collar, exposing my skin to the cold air. Humiliation washed over me. "Nice body," Quinn smirked, her eyes raking over me. "Wonder if it's as fake as the rest of you." Shame and fury burned through me. I struggled, but my hands were bound. "Shy now." Quinn laughed. "Don't bother. I see right through your act." "Yeah, drop the innocent routine." Tina and Nina pinned me tighter. "Quinn, let me check if she's padded." Tina sneered, reaching for my clothes. I squeezed my eyes shut, a lamb to the slaughter. Riot. The sound of my shirt tearing, the cold air on my chest. Quinn's eyes, full of jealousy and a sick pleasure, scanned me. I stared back, fire in my eyes. Didn't she realize this was assault? A crime. Tina, noticing Quinn's expression, grabbed a thermos. "Quinn, his hands have probably been all over her. Let's wash this cheap bitch clean." She filled a cup with steaming water from the electric kettle. My eyes widened in terror. I whimpered, shaking my head, the gag stifling any sound. Quinn took the cup, a cruel smile playing on her lips. "Don't worry," she cooed. "I'll make sure she never forgets today's lesson." Then, without hesitation, she flung the scalding water onto my chest. A strangled, guttural scream tore from my throat. Agony, white-hot and searing. The water ran down my skin, leaving angry red welts. Quinn just laughed, a shrill, triumphant sound. "That's what you get for being a homewrecker. You mess with my man, you pay the price." "You're amazing, Quinn." Tina cheered. "That's how you deal with trash like her." Quinn, pleased, tossed Tina a gift card from her purse, A little something for you. Password 68. Get yourself a Chanel scarf. Thanks, Quinn. Tina snatched it, her eyes gleaming with renewed malice towards me. Nina sidled up to Quinn. Hey, Quinn, she whispered, why don't we strip her naked, film it, and put it online? Let everyone see what this homewrecker really is. Quinn's eyes lit up. Brilliant. Let's do it. She flashed a black credit card at Nina. Dinner tonight. On me. Most expensive place in town. Order whatever you want. I recognized that card. It was a supplementary card linked to my father's account. My mind reeled. Was there really some sort of connection between them? I struggled again, desperate to explain, but they saw it as a pathetic joke. My heart sank. This was beyond a simple misunderstanding now. No matter what the truth was, I could never forgive these three. Quinn started filming with her phone. Hey guys, you won't believe this. First day of college, and I find out my boyfriend ditched bringing me to school to bring this thing. She gestured at me. She lives off his money. He even rented her an apartment. Little did he know, we're in the same dorm. Luckily, my amazing roommates helped me set her straight. She panned the camera to Tina and Nina, who grinned stupidly. It's an honor to help Quinn deal with a homewrecker. We hate girls who steal boyfriends. They give all women a bad name. After Quinn posted the video, Nina peered over her shoulder. Wow, Quinn, you're a beauty influencer? You've got 120,000 followers. Quinn preened. Just watch. The views will skyrocket. This little bitch is about to go viral. I stopped struggling, staring coldly at the three of them. Good. 120K followers. Enough views to make sure they went to jail. Kidnapping, assault, filming, and distributing non-consensual pornography. Defamation. Oh yeah, they were going down. As long as I survived this, they were finished. Quinn, you're a genius. Tina exclaimed, pointing at the phone. 10 minutes and it's got 200,000 likes. The comments are blowing up. Everyone's calling her a slut. Of course, Quinn said, shooting me a disgusted look. I'm a somebody. Taking down a nobody like her? Easy. Nina added, exactly. Quinn's gorgeous. Guys are lining up for her. This loser should look in a mirror before trying to compete. I watched them, a cold smile playing on my lips internally. Enjoy your moment. Ladies, it'll be your last taste of freedom for a long time. Knock, knock, knock. The sudden, urgent rapping on the door shattered their giddy celebration. They exchanged panicked glances. Who is it? What do you want? Tina yelled, annoyed, moving to open it. Okay, that's enough for now, Quinn said, stopping the recording. She turned to me, her eyes hard. Just a little warning. I'll delete the video later. You keep your mouth shut, or you'll regret it. I stared back, silent, as if, after this, after destroying my reputation. Seeing my silence as fear, Quinn smirked and yanked the gag from my mouth. The moment it was out, I screamed, help. Somebody help me. My voice, raw and desperate, echoed in the room. Tina froze mid-step. What are you doing? Quinn shrieked, startled. The knocking outside intensified, now accompanied by banging and shouts of open the door. What's going on in there? Panic flashed across their faces. What do we do? Sounds like a lot of people. Tina stammered. What's there to be afraid of? Nina blustered, though her voice trembled. We were just dealing with a homewrecker. We're the good guys here. Quinn seized on that. She's right. We were exposing a homewrecker, not bullying. She's the one in the wrong. Untie her hands, open the door. So we slapped her a few times? Big deal. I've got money, I can smooth this over. Reassured by Quinn's bravado, Tina threw open the door. A crowd surged in, students from neighboring rooms, the RA, and a residence hall director, alerted by online reports of a bullying incident. The small dorm room was instantly packed. I looked up, my body aching, my clothes torn. A sea of curious, judgmental, and even contemptuous faces stared down at me. Each glance felt like a fresh cut. The hall director, a stern-looking woman, gasped when she saw me. Fury erupted on her face. What in God's name happened here? She bellowed at Quinn. If I hadn't seen an anonymous tip about a violent incident in this dorm, I'd still be in the dark. Do you have any respect for university rules? Quinn, momentarily cowed, quickly regained her composure. Ma'am, we were just teaching a homewrecker a lesson. She seduced my boyfriend. Homewrecker. The hall director's voice rose. Who are you calling a homewrecker? Her. Lily Chin. Quinn pointed at me, her eyes full of venom. She seduced my boyfriend, and... Enough. The RA, a young woman who looked barely older than us, cut her off. Quinn, even if Lily was involved with your boyfriend, you have no right to attack her. This is assault. You do realize you could be arrested for this, right? Quinn paled, but still tried to argue. We just got carried away. She started it by going after him. I'll say it again. Even if she did, you don't resort to violence. The RA insisted. Now, get Lily to the campus clinic immediately. If she's seriously hurt, you'll all face severe disciplinary action, possibly expulsion. Nina tugged Quinn's arm. Quinn, stop. Let's just get her to the clinic. This could get really bad for us. Quinn, fuming, glared at me one last time before she and Nina reluctantly moved towards me. I looked at the surrounding students. Curiosity, disdain, schadenfreude, but not a single shred of sympathy. To them, I was the villain, the homewrecker who deserved what she got, and I couldn't say a word to defend myself. I shoved Quinn's hand away when she tried to help me up. I'm calling the police, I said, my voice cold and steady. Quinn's eyes widened in momentary panic, then narrowed. Go ahead, call them, and say what? That we beat you up? Don't forget who you are in this situation. What right do you have to call the cops? Who am I? I laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. I'm the victim. You illegally detained me, assaulted me, and humiliated me. Why wouldn't I call the police? Victim? Tina scoffed. Oh, please, Lily. You dare say you have nothing to do with Quinn's boyfriend? You dare say you're not a homewrecker? I'm telling you, I have no relationship with Quinn's boyfriend. I bit out each word, trying to control my rage. He's my father. Silence. Absolute, stunned silence. Everyone in the room, Quinn, Tina, Nina, the crowd of students, even the RA and hall director, just stared, jaws slack, eyes wide with disbelief. The air crackled with a tension so thick you could cut it with a knife. Nina was the first to break, letting out an exaggerated gasp and then bursting into laughter. Oh, Lily, you're really something. Making up a story like Richard G. is your dad just to save your own skin? That's rich. Tina joined in. Yeah, Lily, if you're going to lie, at least make it believable. If Richard G. is your dad, why don't you have his last name? Huh. I looked at them, a wave of exhaustion washing over me. What was the point of explaining to these fools? Their minds were already made up, blinded by jealousy and prejudice. I ignored them and turned to Quinn. You say Richard G. is your boyfriend? What proof do you have? From what I know, Mr. G is a well-known CEO, worth millions, and at least 20 years older than you. Why would he be interested in you? Quinn's face went white, but she quickly recovered. He is my boyfriend. That black card I have? It's from him. I even have photos of us together. I'll show you. She fumbled for her phone, found a picture, and shoved it in our faces. It was her, snuggled up close to my dad, beaming. Dad, though older, was well-maintained, distinguished, clearly a man of means. See, Quinn announced triumphantly. Me and my boyfriend. Students craned their necks. Gasps rippled through the room. Oh my God. That's Richard G., the CEO of G Corp. It really is him. I saw him in a business magazine. Quinn is so lucky. How did she land a guy like that? Even the RA's stern expression softened. She looked at Quinn with a newfound, almost imperceptible, respect. After all, being connected to someone like Richard G. was a big deal. The RA cleared her throat, her tone now much gentler. Lily, dear, since this is clearly just a misunderstanding, a very unfortunate one, perhaps we should let it go. After all, being the other woman, well, it's not a good look. Let's not make this any bigger than it needs to be. I stared at the RA, a chill seeping into my bones. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Because Quinn had a photo with my dad, I was now the one in the wrong. Because Dad was wealthy, did that mean Quinn could do whatever she wanted? Because I didn't have that visible power, I deserved to be bullied. Now, not just Quinn, but Tina and Nina too, stood taller, smirking. But looking at the photo, something clicked. The date stamp and location tag in the corner of the digital display. I remembered Dad mentioning he was sponsoring a few underprivileged students through college, giving them allowances so they could focus on studying instead of working part-time. Quinn must be one of them. That explained the supplementary card. Dad was always generous. He said they had it tough. I never imagined his kindness would be twisted like this, that one of those students would use it to fabricate a relationship, to try and climb the social ladder, and to nearly destroy his own daughter. Just as I pieced it all together, about to call Dad, a commotion erupted outside the door. The crowd parted, and there he was, my father, Richard G., flanked by 2 uniformed police officers. His face was grim, his eyes scanning the room until they landed on me. The onlookers buzzed, clearly thinking Dad was here to back up Quinn. Quinn's face lit up. "Uncle Richard," she called out, forgetting her boyfriend charade in her excitement. But Dad strode right past her, straight to me. His eyes were red-rimmed. He pulled me into a tight hug. "Lilybug, my poor girl, you've suffered." Some students in the back snickered. "Mr. G, I think you've got the wrong girl. Your girlfriend is over there." Is Mr. G actually dumping Quinn? Quinn's face had gone deathly pale. She understood. Her whole body trembled. She looked like she was about to collapse. I gently pushed away from Dad, my own eyes stinging, but I managed a shaky, half-joking, "Well, Dad, you've been busy. When were you going to tell me you got me a new stepmom?" Dad's face hardened. He scanned the room, his gaze finally locking onto Quinn. "MS. Wang. Get over here, now." Quinn stumbled forward, her legs like jelly. She collapsed at his feet. Mr. G. "Uncle." If anyone had missed her earlier, Uncle Richard, they heard it now. Every student, every phone still recording, captured this dramatic reversal. The room was silent again, but this time, the shock was aimed at Quinn. "Explain yourself," Dad demanded, his voice dangerously low. "Why did you attack my daughter? Why did you pretend to be my girlfriend?" Quinn burst into tears. "Mr. G, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Lily, I was wrong. I was jealous. I wanted to be someone, to marry Rich. It's all my fault. Please spare me." Seeing Quinn's meltdown, Tina and Nina tried to slip away, but the police officers quickly apprehended them. "Everyone involved in the video will need to come with us to make a statement." I was taken to the hospital. Thankfully, mostly bruises and superficial burns. I'd heal. The video online was taken down, and a corrected version of events was circulated, though the damage to my reputation among some would linger. True to my word, and with Dad's full support, I pressed charges. Quinn, Tina, and Nina were found guilty and sentenced to jail time. After I told Dad everything, he had a stern talk with the university president. The RA and the hall director received official warnings. "Sweetie," Dad said a few days later, carefully peeling an apple for me in my temporary apartment, "do you still want to go back to that school?" The indifference of the other students, their eagerness to watch the drama unfold rather than help, had chilled me to the bone. I'd hoped for saviors. I got an audience. I couldn't imagine learning anything worthwhile in such a toxic environment. I shook my head. "No, Dad, I want to transfer. Somewhere closer to you, maybe?" He smiled. "I'll arrange it." A few weeks later, I started at a new university. On the first day, I nervously brought some local treats to share with my new roommates. To my surprise, they'd all done the same, bringing specialties from their hometowns. We all laughed. A shared moment of easy connection. Not all roommates, I realized, were like Quinn. Some were just normal, and for the first time in a long time, I felt a flicker of hope.